This is just kind of us sharing our hearts about something new that's happening, but kind of going back a ways, 40 years, to where this all started with my brother Tim and myself. And of course we have two older brothers, Gary and Ron, who are in the ministry, and then a lot of people know of our younger sister Janice because of her involvement in the Archers for so many years. But it really started back in 1968, and even before then. I think I was probably 12 or 13 the first time we got up in church.
Yeah.
You know, and Dad was like, he heard us, we would sing the records at the house, you know, and naturally we just go into duet parts because our two older brothers were older and gone. Dad kind of started the whole thing by just saying, you know, hey, that sounds good. Why don't you guys sing that at church on Sunday morning? And we're like, okay. But we love music and we love to sing, and there was a natural blend there, and we would just naturally go into the harmony stuff. And that led us to singing a Bill Gaither song called Lovest Thou Me in our denominational church contest. And apparently it went pretty well. I was 13, you were 16. We went all the way to the Nationals and took second place with that song. And what's cool about that is about 4 or 5 years ago, we went to Gaither Vocal Band concert down in San Antonio. Yeah. And we got to go backstage, yeah, thanks to Mark Lowry, and talk to Bill and tell him about that. And what was it he said to us? He said it was one of the early...
Yeah, it was the 5th or 6th song he'd
ever written.
Yeah.
And shows you how far back that goes. But anyway, that kind of inspired us. We came home from that trip, and you know, we wanted to put a band together. And we ended up singing with our older brother Gary Archer, who was an evangelist at the time, he and his wife Sharon, and we did a little bit with Gary, and then they settled down and pastored, and Tim and I continued in Palmdale, California to try to put our band together.
Yep. People
like Freddie Satterfield and Billy Masters and Nancy Short. That was the original Archers. But here we had done this duet, and on our second Archers record with Billy and Nancy, we did a song written by Phil Johnson that kind of took us back to that duet thing.
Yeah.
You know, because here we were a group, and we had the 3-part harmony with Nancy and a band. But we kind of came back to that duet thing that we started out with, and we did a song called There Is a Light.
Yeah.
And then, of course, later on, when Janice came,
the
first record that Janice did with us, the title song written by Billy Masters was a song called Fresh Surrender. And again, that took us back to the duet thing.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And the harmonies, and that was a very beloved song. Fresh Surrender is probably, I would have to say, one of our most popular recordings, and it was one of the biggest airplay songs.
I would have to agree with that.
Yeah, that we ever had.
Yeah.
So throughout the Archers with Billy and Nancy, and the family Archers with Janice, there's been kind of this thread woven of how you and I started.
Yep.
You know, as brothers, singing duet, being in the contest, and doing There Is a Light, and doing Fresh Surrender, and now bringing us all the way up more than 40 years now later. You know, with this new song that's coming out, I'm sure many, many people have heard this song by the Hollies. Yep. The original was the Hollies.
Yep.
It's called He Ain't Heavy, He's My Brother. And I'm not heavy, I'm his brother. That's not a good title, though.
No, that was the working title, I think.
You know, we've always loved this song. I remember us listening to this on our bus or in the van or whatever it was. A very beloved song.
Right.
But then later on, the Osmonds recorded that song. I'm really excited. Tim does the lead on this new version of He Ain't Heavy, He's My Brother. The vocal is incredible. I get to throw in some harmony parts, and so here we are again, 40-some years later.
Yeah.
The Archer Brothers. Another reason this means a lot to me, not only does Tim do an incredible vocal on this, a heartfelt vocal, and obviously He Ain't Heavy, He's My Brother was meant to be an inspirational song.
Oh yeah, I really, this song really touched me, and for some reason it just really affected me, and I brought it to you and I said, "What, you know, I thought we should do this
Yes.
together," and because of our relationship and the fact that we began singing together at such a young age, and have shared such an incredible journey through the years with the Archers, and but just recently I went to get a physical.
Getting ready for doing some touring.
Yeah, getting ready for doing some touring, but I had been planning to go anyway,
Right.
because I like to do that now at least once a year, and so I found a great doctor, and when you have a great doctor, you know, it helps, but so I went to get a checkup, and he says, "Well, I can tell you one thing, you picked good parents." Because at my age, he said I was doing really well. My blood pressure, everything was good. But I had a little, what I would consider was an abscess in my mouth. Maybe about that long, and just something you could feel with your tongue, and it would hurt occasionally, not all the time. And I thought it was just an abscess, something was just like, you know, temporary. And but it had been there for a couple of months, 3 months, and so I went to the doctor. You know how they do take the stick and make it go ah.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
so he was doing that. He's an old school doctor, and he was doing all the stuff that you do, hit your knee and all that stuff.
Yeah. And we're singers. We're used to saying
Yeah,
"ah."
yeah, we're
That's
used
not-
to saying ah. So I did that quite well for him. But in the process, he saw this thing down in my mouth, and he looked and he said, "Oh, what's that?" And I said, "I don't know. It's just kind of been there for a little while. It's kind of an abscess, kind of irritating." He says, "It hurt?" I said, "Well, sometimes, but not all the time." He said, "Well, I don't like the look of that." He said, "I'm gonna send you over to ENT," and he did. They took a biopsy, and just a week later, I think it was, I got a call, and they said, "Well, it's cancer." And he said, "The good news is we caught it early, and this is not a big deal. We can do this." And so I just kind of freaked out, you know, went numb, and because you just never know. They tell you things, but
Right.
when you hear cancer, you don't know if it's, you know. He said, "Now, it's likely because we caught it so early that it hasn't spread to your lymph nodes and things like that." He said, "But you know, I'm pretty confident we're okay." But so finally, they decided they had to go in and get it. And this kind of cancer you can't do with chemo and stuff. You have to go in and take it out in the mouth. So it was on the floor of my mouth. So they scheduled me with a great surgeon. Normally, you have to have a tracheotomy and a graft in your mouth. And because I'm a singer, he kind of did a personal surgery for me.
Yeah.
And just went in and got it without all that.
And there were a
Not
lot of
putting
people.
A hole in my neck.
A lot of people.
A lot of people praying all
Yeah.
over the country. And
Yeah.
anyway, it went 4.5 hours. Went great, and they took out all the lymph nodes over here, the gash here, and I'm healing great. There was no cancer in the lymph nodes. There's no cancer. I'm cancer free.
Hallelujah.
My last appointment was 2 weeks ago, and I'm cancer free, and everything's healing fantastic.
Wonderful.
So this is something we're in the process of rehabilitating my speech, and working on some of the aspects of getting my, after all the healing's done, getting my mouth in
Right.
correct position. So
I know one thing you can do. You can sing, because we just a couple of times recently with Matt and Lori. Crouch.
I don't know what happened, but I can actually have better resonance and stronger sound, and my range is better. I don't know what happened with the surgery?
Yeah.
It's just I have to work on my tongue to get a little more articulation.
Well, it was fun. We were recently on Christian television and singing the song that Andre gave us so many years ago. Jesus is the answer.
Yeah.
Together, and it did. I mean, just singing with you and Janice, it sounded like, back in the day.
Yeah.
And so, thank the Lord for all the good stuff. But we want to share this song with you all. We're excited about it. He ain't heavy, he's my brother.
Yeah.
And, I think back to the scripture where, Jesus said, no greater love hath any man than to be willing to lay down his life for his brother.
That's right.
And of course, we know when he says his brother, it means humankind, whether it's our sister, our brother, our mother, our
Sure.
father, a friend, or even a stranger. And, bearing one another's burdens. I know that we've had difficulties in our life, in our relationship with each other, with others, and so on and so forth. But for me, the constant is Christ's love. I love my brother because he's my brother, but I think we've been able to work together as long as we have, sing together, which we love to do the most, and make it through many things because of this deeper love, this deeper understanding that God gives through Christ. And so whatever you're going through out there, be that brother or bear that person's burdens, because and God will send someone to bear yours as well.
Amen.
And we love y'all, and
Yeah.
thank you for letting us share this with you. And you're going to be hearing
Yeah.
the song soon, so when you do, share it with others as
Yeah,
well.
This song is for all you people out there who are struggling and going through really tough things, because we know that feeling,
Yes,
and some of you more than anything we've even ever known.
that's right.
But I want you to let this song give you some hope, and believe that there's something greater than yourself, and that your circumstances are just temporary, and God is still in control.